I mean, where are we living? East Germany? Obviously so. So that, you know what that means? We need more people there. We need 10,000 people there. We need 20,000 people there. We need to make this a giant event to show the people out there, the sleeping giant that is America, that we know what's going on, and that there is a shadow elite group of power brokers out there who is discussing things behind the scenes, and we need to be made aware of what's going on. Now moving on to some other news. This is out of The Independent. Israel hints it may be behind the Flame supervirus targeting Iran. And that's a big surprise because we already know they were partially behind the Stuxnet. A top Israeli minister fed speculation that the Jewish state could be responsible for a powerful new virus said to have been used in a fresh attack on computers in Iran and elsewhere in the Middle East. That's right. It includes Palestine, Sudan, Syria, Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt, in addition to Iran. Moshe Yaalon, Israel's vice prime minister and strategic affairs minister, told the country's Army radio, anyone who sees the Iranian threat as a significant threat is responsible, that he or she will take various steps, including these, to harm it. So he's basically saying, yeah, we did it, and well, if it gets out anywhere else, that's not really our problem. You know, they're just protecting their interests, or so they say. But in the meantime, this could cause untold problems for Iran, and they may retaliate, which would then cause Israel to retaliate. And basically, this is just more provoking, more poking the stick at the bear and seeing if they'll do anything in return. So far, Iran has yet to retaliate on that. Moving on to a weird story out of Wisconsin. Pastor sentenced to 2 years in prison for teaching that parents should spank their children. Oh, man, this is crazy. A minister named Philip Caminetti was sentenced to 2 years in prison for simply teaching that parents should spank their children when they misbehave. He was quoting a Bible verse, Proverbs 13:24, and after prison, he's going to be on extended supervision for 6 years, and despite objections on constitutional grounds from his lawyers, this man wasn't even spanking children. He was just saying, hey, if your child gets out of line, you should spank them, okay? Because that's why we have kids running around here in this country who aren't well behaved, who are delinquents, and doing all kinds of crazy stuff because their parents didn't raise them right. Okay, probably because they didn't spank them because they were told spanking was bad. Yeah, well, that's a big First Amendment issue. I feel really bad for this judge, Marianne Sumi, who was absolutely horrified that someone should spank their kids when they misbehave. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But just a sign of the times of where we're going. Moving back abroad. West Hula's Syria narrative crumbles, expels diplomats anyway, and this is from Tony Cartalucci. And it basically shows two contradicting reports. The UN said that most of the 108 victims of the massacre in Hula last week were shot at close range, and that their arms were bound, and there were women, children, and entire families were gunned down in their own homes. Well, that's a complete opposite of what the UK Foreign Minister, Alistair Burt, was saying. He was saying, we're appalled at what appears to be credible reports that the Syrian regime is responsible for the deaths of the 92 civilians in Hula. And he was saying that artillery, tank shells were being used. And if that's the case, it's a pure act of naked savagery, and we condemn it. And they started kicking out the foreign minister from Syria out of the UK office. And but then the UN's obviously has a different report, and actually when photos came out, you could see that people's arms were being bound. There was no way that this was shelling done from a faraway location. These people were gunned down at close range. But instead of looking at the actual credible report, they're going off a report that they got from some unknown person and using that as a premise to kick out the Syrian foreign minister.
We're appalled at what appears to be credible reports that the Syrian regime has been responsible for the deaths of 92 civilians in Hula, including 32 children. The UN head of mission has been able to confirm the numbers and also that artillery tank shells have been used. If this is the case, then it's an act of pure naked savagery, and we condemn it in the strongest possible terms.
So clearly nobody was actually making attempts to follow up on these reports and make sure that they were credible, but it's just another indication that any reason NATO can use to go after Syria and start the next theater of war there, just like we did in Lebanon, just like we did in Egypt and then Libya. Now we're going to go into Syria and then Iran. And then, you know, it's World War III. Wow. Finally tonight, Poland beekeepers kick Monsanto out of the hive, successfully banned bee-killing GM corn. A significant health freedom victory has taken place in the European nation of Poland, where all plantings of Monsanto's MON 810, a genetically modified variety of maize that produces its own Bt insecticide in every kernel, has been officially banned. The decision comes after thousands of protesters recently took to the streets, good job, Poles, and a demonstration of the undeniable fact that both chemicals, that both MON 810 and the chemicals cause colony collapse disorder, a worldwide phenomenon in which entire swarms of honeybees disappear or turn up dead. And a lot of this has been based on the independent research of Pennsylvania beekeeper John McDonald, who had his research taken up and burned because Monsanto didn't like it. They don't want anybody talking about any of their products in a bad light at all. And this really makes me happy that the Poles kicked these guys out, and this on a day when the president referred to a Nazi death camp as a Polish death camp today. Good job, Obama. And finally, our quote of the day comes from Joan of Arc, and she said, "I am not afraid. I was born to do this." And what was she born to do? Well, she was born to kick the English out of her country. And this is back in the 1400s. I'm going to go over some quick facts here on Joan of Arc. She was born in 1412, and then about the age of 13, she started hearing the voices of St. Michael, the Archangel, St. Catherine, and St. Margaret, who told her she needed to basically help get the English out of France and that she must lead Charles the VII on his coronation. So she journeys up into France from her. She was on the eastern side of France. She journeys into the capital to help lead the armies. At 17, she is asked to lead the armies. She helps lift the siege of Orleans in 1429. Which she earned the name the Maid of Orleans. And then she won her greatest military victory at Patay in June 18th of 1429. She annihilated English forces, killing over 2,000 while suffering almost no losses. She was then later wounded at a fight and captured by the Burgundian soldiers, and they turned her over to the English. And they sold her, I think, for, it looks like 10,000 gold francs. She was put on trial there. She did not want to deny that she was hearing voices of those archangels. She wouldn't do it. Finally, at the very end, with threat of rape, she did recant, and she was burned at the stake on May 30th of 1431. Her last words were, "Jesus, Jesus, Jesus." And then many years later, her trial was overturned. And now we celebrate St. Joan of Arc Feast Day, which is May 30th, which is today. So there you go. That's why we had that quote from Joan of Arc. And it just shows what one person can do. Coming up, we're going to talk to another person who just decided he was fed up with the TSA and what they do. He started a WordPress page, started making videos, and now he's testifying in front of Congress and sending petitions to the Supreme Court. His name's John Corbin, and he'll be right up after this. Don't forget, if you're watching this on YouTube, you need to become a Prison Planet member. You can do that by going to InfoWarsNews.com or PrisonPlanet.tv. Also, we have a free social network that you can join. It is Planet InfoWars, and it has all this amazing stuff. There's the cool graphic we have today. We had a video that was shot with one of our moderators today talking about all the things that are going on with Bilderberg. So get out there, get involved, become a member of Planet InfoWars, become a member of PrisonPlanet.tv, and let's help take it to the next level. We're already getting there with your help, and we sure do appreciate it. Coming up next, John Corbett of TSA Out of Our Pants.
Have you been to InfoWarsShop.com lately? Express your inner patriot with these brand new InfoWars t-shirts. Say it loud with the InfoWars Bullhorn shirt, or educate the sheeple with the Bill of Rights shirt. Grope the public's mind with the TSA shirt. And with this shirt, you can let the dark side know of the Rebel Alliance's power. All available at InfoWarsShop.com.
For more than 6 years, I've talked on the air about creating a social network. PlanetInfoWars.com is in its beta phase. We're just launching, and I want to invite all of you out there to be in on the ground level. Planet InfoWars is about people coming together, forming activist organizations, getting involved politically, hunting and fishing, gardening, dating. This is a place for people who love freedom to meet and to talk and to write and to post information. And I give you this pledge. We are not going to spy on you and sell your data to the New World Order. PlanetInfoWars.com is free, so people who love freedom can get together, connect with people who are awake and know what we're facing. Be active, organize, take action, go viral, create, contribute, resist, because resistance is victory. You are victory. It's waiting for you to breathe power into it. PlanetInfoWars.com. Sick of the globalist eugenicist control freaks adding poison to your water and laughing as you get sick and die? Start purifying your water with ProPure. My friends, I've done a lot of research, and the best gravity filter out there, bar none, is ProPure, and it's available discounted at INFOWARS.com. Its filters are silver impregnated to prevent bacterial growth. There's no priming required. It's NSF 42 certified. Optional fluoride filters can reduce fluoride up to 95%. Easy to set up and use. Doesn't require electricity. Purify water from lakes, streams, ponds, and wells. This filter system leaves in beneficial minerals, which is key. Save money by not buying bottled water and avoid BPA that leaches from the plastic. ProPure is the best gravity-fed filter out there. It's what my family uses. Infowars.com already has the lowest price on ProPure. But if you add the promo code WATER at checkout, you get an additional 10% off at Infowars.com. You can also call to order 888-253-3139.
Welcome back to InfoWars Nightly News. I'm your host, Rob Dew, sitting in while most of the crew is out on the road in Bilderberg protesting. But it's my pleasure to bring to you today as our guest John Corbett from the blog TSA Out of Our Pants. And he's been writing on this for a while now. And one of the cool things he did was make a video about how to bypass the body scanners, which has led him to even go up to Congress and speak in the midst of the esteemed John Pistol and other such luminaries, other such public servants that should be doing our bidding, not us doing their bidding. And we covered an article yesterday, TSA Viper teams and CBP agents spotted patrolling music festival. That was in Detroit, where I guess he lives and is a music producer. So here he is now. Let's say hi to him. Hey, John, how's it going?
Hey, Rob, doing well.
Excellent. So tell us about this Detroit music festival that you went to the other day and how you were shocked to see federal agents.
Yep, so I'm actually just a visitor in Detroit. I live in Miami, my first time there, but they throw a music festival, electronic music, every Memorial Day for the last several years. So I went there, and I was pretty surprised to find, when I walked out of the festival, a bunch of TSA agents, armed law enforcement TSA inspectors, and inside the festival, armed Border Patrol agents.
That is not surprising. We've seen Border Patrol, and we've documented Border Patrol agents setting up their checkpoints well more, and they said to you 50 miles inland. They're over 100 miles inland in Texas and in Arizona and all the southern border states. They're crawling. They go wherever they want. They want your papers. They want to know what you're doing, who you're with, where you going, ask you 20 questions, and they shouldn't even be anywhere but at the border.
Correct. The music festival wasn't far from the border at all. But the question is, what kind of border-related activity is going on inside a music festival? And the answer is, of course, none. But these agents seem to think that they have the authority, and perhaps they do, perhaps they don't, to go wherever they want and to question whoever they want.
And so you questioned a couple of the border agents, asking them why they were there. What did they say to you?
That's correct. So they basically told me that they're within 50 miles of the border, so they can patrol wherever they want. That they enforce both state and federal law, and that